Hello, and welcome back to English for Your Day. I'm Lily, your host, and I'm so excited to have you all tuning in. Today, we have a fantastic guest with us, Sofia, an experienced English teacher who's here to share her wisdom and guide us on our English learning adventure. Welcome to the show, Sofia.
Hi, Lily. Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're absolutely thrilled to have you. We're going to be talking about how to learn English effectively, especially for those of you who are just starting out. It can feel a bit overwhelming at first, right?
It definitely can, but it's also an incredibly rewarding journey. Learning English opens up so many doors and allows you to connect with people from all over the world.
That's so true. I still remember the thrill of having my first conversation in English with someone from another country. It was amazing.
That's wonderful. It's those kinds of experiences that make language learning so special.
Absolutely. So, Sophia, for our listeners who are just starting their English learning journey, what's the most important thing to keep in mind? Where do they even begin?
That's a great question, Lily. I think the most important thing is to have a clear goal in mind. Ask yourself, why do I want to learn English? Is it to travel the world and chat with people from different cultures? Is it to get a dream job or advance in your career? Or maybe you simply love the language and want to enjoy English books, movies, and music?
I love that. For me, it was definitely about the music. I wanted to understand the lyrics of my favorite English songs without having to constantly look them up.
That's a fantastic goal. And it's a great example of a specific and achievable goal.
So, having a goal is important. But what about when you start learning and then you get stuck? It happens to everyone, right?
It absolutely does. Everyone feels stuck or discouraged at some point. The key is to remember that it's a normal part of the learning process. And it's important to be patient with yourself and keep practicing, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Consistency is key.
Every day? Even when I'm super busy or just not feeling it?
Yes, even a little bit of practice each day is better than nothing. Think of it like exercise. You don't have to run a marathon every day to stay in shape. Even a short walk or a few stretches can make a big difference. The same goes for language learning.
That's a great analogy. So, what are some easy things I can do every day to practice my English?
Well, you already mentioned one great way. Listening to English music. Do you have a favorite English song at the moment?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There are so many. But lately, I've been really into Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
That's a great choice. It's upbeat and fun, and the lyrics are pretty easy to understand. You can try singing along and paying attention to how the words are pronounced. You can also explore different genres of music. Do you like pop music, rock music, country music?
I love pop music. Anything that makes me want to dance.
Perfect. There are so many amazing English pop artists out there. You can discover new music and improve your English at the same time. It's a win-win. You can also try listening to English podcasts.
Ooh, yes. Podcasts are awesome. I love listening to them while I'm doing chores or going for a walk.
Definitely. Podcasts are fantastic for language learning. They're a great way to improve your listening skills and learn about different topics.
What about reading? Any tips for finding things to read in English that won't be too difficult?
Reading is so important for expanding your vocabulary and improving your grammar. You can start with children's books. They usually have simple words and lots of pictures to help you understand.
Do you have a favorite children's book?
I'm glad you asked. One of my all-time favorites is Corduroy by Don Freeman. It's a heartwarming story about a little teddy bear who's looking for a button. It has beautiful illustrations in simple language, perfect for beginners.
That sounds adorable. I'll have to check it out. What about books for adults who are just starting to learn English?
There are so many great options. You could try reading graded readers. These are books that are specifically written for English learners, with simplified language and controlled vocabulary. They come in different levels, so you can choose the one that's right for you.
Graded readers. That's a good idea. I've never heard of those before. Where can I find them?
Most libraries and bookstores have a section for graded readers. You can also find them online. Another option is to read books that you've already read in your native language. That way, you'll already be familiar with the story, which can make it easier to understand the English version.
That's a clever trick. I'm going to try that. Okay, so we've covered listening, reading, and watching. What about speaking? That's the part one find most intimidating.
I understand. Speaking can be nerve-wracking, especially when you're first starting out. But it's such an important part of language learning. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. And remember, everyone makes mistakes. It's a natural part of the learning process.
That's reassuring. Do you have any tips for getting over the fear of speaking?
One thing you can do is practice speaking to yourself in English. It might sound silly, but it's a great way to get comfortable with the sounds of the language and build your confidence.
Talk to myself? What would I even say?
You can say anything you want. You can describe what you're doing, what you see around you, or even just your thoughts and feelings. For example, you could say, "I'm making breakfast now. I'm cooking eggs and toast. I think I'll add some avocado today. It's going to be a great day." You can also try to think in English throughout the day.
Think in English? Wow, that sounds challenging.
Can be challenging at first, but it gets easier with practice. Start with simple sentences like, "I'm hungry," or "This coffee is delicious." As you get more comfortable, you can start thinking in more complex sentences and even have whole conversations with yourself in your head.
That's a cool idea. I'm going to try that.
Another great way to practice speaking is to find a language partner. Do you have any friends who are also learning English?
Actually, I do. My friend, Mia, is also trying to improve her English. We could practice together.
That's fantastic. You can have conversations, watch movies together, or even just text each other in English. And remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they're learning a new language. It's how we learn and grow.
Even you?
Even me. I still make mistakes sometimes, and that's okay. It's all part of the journey.
That makes me feel a lot better.
The most important thing is to have fun with it. Find ways to make learning English enjoyable. If you're having fun, you're much more likely to stick with it. Do you like music? Listen to English songs and sing along. Do you like movies? Watch English movies and TV shows with subtitles. Do you enjoy reading? Find English books and magazines that interest you.
I love playing games.
That's awesome. You can play games in English too. Many video games have an English language option. It's a fun way to immerse yourself in the language and learn new vocabulary without even realizing it.
Really? I'm going to check that out. I had no idea.
It's a great way to combine your hobbies with your language learning. You can also try playing word games or puzzles in English.
Those are good ideas.
And there are so many amazing apps you can use to learn English. Have you ever tried Duolingo?
I've heard of it, but I haven't tried it yet. What's it like?
It's a really popular app that's designed like a game. It's fun and addictive, and it's a great way to learn new vocabulary and grammar. If you want to improve your pronunciation, Elsa Speak is fantastic. It uses AI to give you feedback on your pronunciation and helps you get those tricky sounds just right. And Babel is a good option if you want to focus on conversational skills.
Wow, so many choices. I'm going to download those apps today.
Wonderful. And don't forget about good old-fashioned books. Your local library probably has a great selection of English books for beginners, and many websites offer free ebooks or audiobooks.
I love going to the library. It's like a treasure hunt for knowledge.
Exactly. And there's nothing quite like the feeling of getting lost in a good book.
This is all such great advice, Sofia. I feel much more motivated and confident about learning English now.
That's wonderful to hear, Lily. I'm so glad. And remember, the most important thing is to be patient with yourself. Practice regularly and have fun.
I will. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today.
It was my pleasure, Lily. Thanks for having me.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for listening to English for Your Day. And a huge thank you to Sofia for joining us and sharing her fantastic tips. We hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Until next time, happy learning.
Before we finish, let's quickly go over some of the key words and phrases we used today. Overwhelming. This means something that is very intense or difficult to deal with because it is too much or too great.
Example: the amount of work I have to do this week is overwhelming.
Rewarding. This means providing satisfaction or a feeling of achievement.
Example: volunteering at the animal shelter is a rewarding experience.
Goal. This means an aim or desired result.
Example: my goal is to graduate from university with honors.
Stuck. This means unable to move or to be moved.
Example: the car got stuck in the mud.
Discouraged. This means having lost confidence or enthusiasm. Disheartened.
Example: he felt discouraged after failing the exam.
Consistency. This means doing something regularly and in the same way each time.
Example: imagine a clock that always ticks at the same speed, never faster or slower. That's consistency.
Analogy. This means a comparison between two things, typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification.
Example: the teacher used the analogy of a garden to explain how the human body works.
Catchy. This means of a tune or phrase, instantly appealing and memorable.
Example: the new advertisement has a catchy jingle.
Pronunciation. This means the way in which a word is pronounced.
Example: her pronunciation of French words is impeccable.
Genre. This means a category of artistic composition, as in music or literature, characterized by similarities in form, style, or subject matter.
Example: science fiction is my favorite genre of books.
Explore. This means to travel in or through an unfamiliar country or area, in order to learn about or familiarize oneself with it.
Example: they explored the ancient ruins of the city.
Recommend. This means to put forward someone or something, with approval as being suitable for a particular purpose or role.
Example: I highly recommend this restaurant. The food is delicious.
Expand. This means to become or make larger or more extensive.
Example: the company plans to expand its operations overseas.
Nerve-wracking. This means causing a great deal of worry or anxiety.
Example, waiting for the exam results was a nerve-wracking experience.
Reassuring. This means restoring confidence or removing someone's doubts.
Example, the doctor's words were very reassuring.
Self-conscious. This means excessively aware of oneself in social situations, feeling uneasy or embarrassed.
Example, he felt self-conscious about his new haircut.
Immerse. This means to involve oneself deeply in a particular activity or interest.
Example, he immersed himself in the study of ancient history.
Personalized. This means designed or produced to meet someone's individual requirements.
Example, she received a personalized gift with her name engraved on it.
Pinpoint. This means to find or identify with great accuracy or precision.
Example, the detective was able to pinpoint the exact time of the crime.
Track. This means to follow the course or trail of.
Example, the hunter tracked the deer through the forest.
Addictive. This means of a substance or activity, causing or likely to cause someone to become addicted.
Example, video games can be very addictive.
Spaced repetition. This is a learning technique that involves reviewing information at increasing intervals. This method helps you retain information longer by combating the natural forgetting curve. Initially, review more frequently, then gradually decrease the frequency as your retention improves.
Example, spaced repetition is a proven method for memorizing vocabulary.
Treasure trove. This means a store of valuable or delightful things.
Example, the attic was a treasure trove of old photographs and letters.
Inspiring. This means having the effect of inspiring someone.
Example, her speech was inspiring and motivating.
Chores. This means routine tasks, especially domestic ones.
Example, I listen to podcasts while I'm doing chores.
Adorable. This means very charming or attractive.
Example, that puppy is adorable.
Trick. This means a clever or skillful act or scheme intended to deceive or outwit someone.
Example, he used a trick to solve the puzzle.
Uplifting. This means inspiring happiness or hope.
Example, the movie had an uplifting ending.
Wisdom. This means the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment.
Example, he shared his wisdom with the younger generation.
Thrill. This means a feeling of excitement and pleasure.
Example, I felt a thrill when I rode the roller coaster.
Unlock. This means to open something that is locked, or to discover something hidden or secret.
Example, learning English can unlock many opportunities.
Jingle. This means a short slogan, verse, or tune designed to be easily remembered, especially as used in advertising.
Example, the company has a catchy jingle for their new product.